Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sideline Shenanigans. My name is Bryan. I have Coach Justin Willier here from Covington High School. Welcome, Coach.
Glad to be here. Thankful for the opportunity that you presented me with. So let's get going.
Absolutely, absolutely. My favorite question to ask on the show is what got you started coaching?
Okay, so coaching has kind of been an interesting journey for me. Um, the first thing I'll say is I've always been,
hmm
my biggest thing has been it's about the players and it's about more than whatever the sport I'm coaching. The coaching is just an avenue to reach people um, in, uh, in a way that I think needs to be reached, and that's kind of spiritually. So, whatever opportunity I have while I'm in this position or in another role, that's always at kind of the forefront of my mind. But I had thought upon graduating here from Covington and turning down some just small D3 opportunities that experiencing high school football for me would probably be over. Uh, it's kind of one of those rare things that
hmm
you get a very small window to experience, and it becomes a addicting thing. I still remember some of those really special moments, and I'm sure you do as well. Um, upon graduating,
Absolutely.
upon graduating from the University of Indianapolis with an elementary background and a special education background. Um, I thought maybe the possibility to get back into coaching could come back. Um, but I really wasn't focused on coaching. I really
hmm
wanted to just be there for my students, be the best teacher that I could be. Um, and when my wife and I both graduated, we started kind of looking at some of the landscape in Indiana. Uh, we applied to some other places near Indianapolis, but we started to kind of see some opportunities open closer back to home. One of which was special education opening K through 6 at Williamsport Elementary for Seeger High School. Uh, and I ended up getting that
hmm
job offer. And they immediately whisked me off to the athletic department where Nate Davis, who's their current athletic director, uh, encouraged me to uh, coach. He wanted me to coach middle school football and middle school wrestling. Uh, there was kind of that time that I was like, oh, I could actually, get back into this. And I kind of really only wanted to do one, but Mr. Davis was very persuasive in saying, no, I think you need to do both. And actually, both experiences in both middle school wrestling and middle school football is what he kind of offered me. Were very unique. And I ended up loving both of those and still do both kind of to this day, I guess, with head football and middle school wrestling. Um, but I ended up doing some film work for James Byers, who was the head coach at the time at Seeger. Ends up being the head coach at Frankfurt for a little while. And I think he's at Avon now in an assistant role. That was kind of a reintroduction to Friday Night Lights. Um, and the anticipation of game time and seeing that honestly James needed a lot of help, and not in a bad way. He needed help. He was trying to do a lot himself, and I didn't realize that there's not a lot of help out here, especially at small schools looking to pour into kids' lives and
hmm
do what's best for them. And so I kind of saw that opportunity and started to think, you know what, uh, this could be something for you. It was the following year. James ended up leaving for Frankfurt, and Herb King
hmm
was hired here or at Seeger. Uh,
Legend.
his his uh, his first kind of hire was me. He came and approached me about wanting to do offensive line for him, and Coach King gave me an amazing opportunity. He let me be involved with uh, everything. He let me in on decision making, um, asked my thoughts, made me feel valued, gave me confidence to learn and to coach. And I got to be a part of every aspect, whether it was, off-season lifting, um, developing offensive type game plans, defensive game plans, kind of seeing every aspect. Um, and I actually got a couple offers to go while assistant coach with him at a couple other places. But coaching with a Hall of Fame coach, I thought was a tremendous opportunity, one who's turned around programs. And it was kind of at that time that I started to kind of have some ideas about coming back here to Covington and trying to put us on the right path, a path that, hopefully not hopefully, we've never achieved here. A goal of mine as a player with Phil Cunningham, who was my head coach here at Covington, was to win a sectional title. And started to kind of have thoughts about those things on whether or not you could be the guy that maybe hopefully does that. So I've had a tremendous amount of coaches in my life in both wrestling arena and in football. I've had Tom Cook, the late Tom Cook, who was a great influence the year or two that I got to coach underneath him at Seeger in the wrestling kind of department. Dude was amazing, going through cancer treatments and still wrestling kids and showing up, and there was no excuses, and he was just always involved in it. And I had a great deal of respect for him and what he was doing. Herb King, of course, I've talked about him, tremendous mentor. Still talk to him, weekly, if not more than that, especially during football season. Rick Overfield, who's a Hall of Fame coach for wrestling. And did some stuff with Western Boone. He came over and was a great friend of Tom Cook's and took over the wrestling program at Seeger. He's been a tremendous help. Scott Moore, who was an assistant coach with us at Seeger. Brandon Rumler, who was an assistant coach with us in strength and conditioning. I can't tell you the amount of hours I picked his brain on strength and conditioning things. And he's now at McCutcheon. Kyle Ray, who was a former head coach at Heritage Christian and has had a tremendous career in head coaching, has now moved on to administration. Weirdly, we met at a church small group when I was in Indianapolis. He was just an assistant coach at the time.
Okay.
And that's been a really cool relationship and how it's kind of circled back. Ryan Sowers, who was the soccer coach here for a long time, won multiple sectional titles. He is my best friend, so I pick his brain daily. The late Terry Field, who was our former FCA huddle leader, just a tremendous heart for service, tremendous heart for God, affected me in ways I can never be thankful enough for. Travis Brown, who's now assistant principal at Seeger, got to play underneath him. He was my defensive coordinator, and then just a ton of others. I just want to make sure I give a couple of them shout outs.
Yeah. Shout out to Tyler Jordan too.
Yes, Coach
Attica
Jordan,
Goat.
He's
Love that guy to death.
He is an awesome influence on the kids. He's got a great deal of energy, and I appreciate everything he does for us.
He tried to get me to come to Covington, be in the Army. I was like, Coach, I can't come to Covington. I really can't.
I couldn't go to Attica either, to be honest with you.
What? Oh, no. I would be like, I don't know anybody. What's your core coaching philosophy?
I would say core coaching philosophy ends up. I can just kind of walk through it with them. Our morning lifts. We've got Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday mornings that we're in. I'm in a group, right? I'm leading a group. I'm trying to show them by example. Especially now, we've got a younger group after graduating 12 seniors last year. I always try to put myself in it, and I've kind of jokingly said when I can't do it anymore with them physically, or whether I get pulled away time-wise, then I think I'm going to be done coaching. I remember a youth coach I had clear back in like peanut football at at Catlin over in Illinois for the Salt Fork Storm. That dude was
Mhm.
crazy. He would do everything with us. He had no pads on. He's sprinting through drills like, "Come on, guys, let's go!" And I just remember uh, how captivating that was, and appreciative of that I was. So I've never tried to leave that. That's been kind of a core philosophy for mine. Um, Another thing, right here at Covington, being a former graduate, a former player, I moved in fifth grade. Um, I've lived this life that a lot of these kids have. I've experienced a lot of those things, and I use those experiences to try to bond with them. I've graduated from the school, taken these classes, walked a lot of these hallways, worked out in the same weight room. Um, and seen a lot of
Mhm.
kids kind of go through. But I would say, as far as like expectations for us, we've got a kind of a core philosophy, right? I took a year off of coaching in between moving from Seeger and Covington. I just taught that year. I wanted to experience being a dad. I wanted to achieve some things. That was kind of after COVID. It was, different time. And
Mm.
sitting on the sidelines Friday nights and kind of just monitoring kids and getting a pulse of what this building needs and what maybe they're already good at. Our core values kind of are unity, discipline, respect, drive, accountability, communication, versatility, leadership, work ethic, and sportsmanship. Um, and those are just kind of our core fundamentals. And we're going to hammer those home in everything, in the classroom, outside the classroom, in every way we possibly can. I just really want us to present a family uh, atmosphere. I want us as players, as coaches, to have a deeper bond than just, hey, go out here and execute this play to the best of your ability and, give me, give me, give me. No, this is us. I kind of have a phrase that I use quite a bit. Just it's never I, it's we, right? Player led. We need to all kind of have a say in it. Yeah, my name's on it. I get that. Okay, but like Trojan logo, we got to have pride in what we do. It's got to be us if we're really going to change this, right? It can't be just a couple people leading it. Um, so just
Right.
preaching the power of discipline. That's kind of been our big thing this year, um, and that hard work is going to win out in the long run every single stinking time. You can't cheat work. Um, progress only happens but through sacrifice, through giving what you can all the time,
Mhm.
even when I'm not looking.
How do you balance being a coach and a mentor?
I think honestly they kind of walk hand in hand. Like I said earlier, I I wouldn't coach if I couldn't be a mentor. If I couldn't pour into kids' lives, uh, I'm not going to go through the list of all the things that I've been able to have a part in with kids, but I'm so thankful for those opportunities. I know sometimes we get into the mindset, especially in the moment, maybe that uh, it's not convenient. I'm trying to do something and the kid's calling me and asking me, for advice on something. There's an open line of communication between any of my players and um, and I take a great deal of pride in that. I think that's your job as a coach is to be a mentor. If you don't walk it like you're trying to get them to do, forget
Absolutely.
it. It's not a program. You need to exemplify everything that you expect in a kid, and if you're going to hold them to a level of accountability, they better expect the exact same behavior out of you.
Absolutely, absolutely. How do you handle internal team conflict?
Um, uh, could you could you add more to that? Like, do you want that to be really specific or
Like,
just
is there like, for example, if there was, like, a fight, a disagreement between teammates, how would you ha handle that if they brought it to you?
I think it's a situational basis. I think again, everything that we do uh, is weighed against our core values, right? So, Bible's got 10 commandments in the law or whatever, right? We've got a couple commandments, right? Those unity, discipline, respect,
Mhm.
right? If you're not, basically, we could summarize that as doing the right thing, right? We're going to weigh what's going on in that situation against those core um, core values that we have, and we'll handle the situation on a situation by situation basis. I don't, I don't know what else. Honestly, we've not had a whole lot of teams
How
that
do
want
you
had a.
prepare for a team? How do you prepare your team for a hostile environment? I know, like, North Vermilion can be very hostile. Like
It's a
them,
oh yeah,
North
it's a unique.
Vermilion, Seeger
They
sometimes.
they're loud. They have a passionate fan base. I'm excited that Coach Crabtree's back there. I think that's a good thing long term for them. He's a phenomenal influence for those kids at North Vermilion. Um, how do you prepare your kids? Right, it starts at practice. You need to create an environment that has a high level of expectation, but at the same point, right, the kids can't be scared and fearful to make mistakes. Uh, you know, you need you need to be very what's the word, focused in practice. You need to give them opportunities to experience that high level of competition, whether it be in individual drills or during brief moments of controlled chaos, I say, with team versus team type stuff. Um, Last year, we really had a
Mhm.
good with how many people we had playing. We had a variety of seniors, right? We had graduated 12. We were able to create a really competitive environment at practice, and almost we had to kind of really control it, right? Here we're having 10 minutes where you get to go after each other. Oh, coach, come on, we want to hit each other as hard as we can. Well, you know what? We got to last the entire season. So I think it just comes down to preparation, how you
Right.
practice, and again, letting kids know that it's okay to make mistakes. You're playing football. At the end of the day, you put the dang ball in the end zone, or you don't let them catch it, or you tackle, or you block. We try to make this game sometimes maybe more than what it is. But one of my favorite things, right, a hostile environment, is to give the pregame speech. So again, those come on a Friday by Friday basis. I never know honestly what I'm going to talk about prior to those happening, and I think it's a game by game basis.
Okay, okay. Do you prepare trick plays?
Uh, yeah, I mean we have a couple in the bag. I wouldn't say that we're far enough along in the system to have carry 4 or 5 per game. But yeah, no, we try to each week
Right,
preparation
right.
if we can notice something, whether it be on their defense or offensively that we can take advantage of. Yeah, hey, we're looking for any and every chance to to get a first down, to get a couple yards, to steal a point or two or 6. And
Mhm.
yeah, uh, inspiration comes from everywhere. It's one of the great things with this AI and open kind of artificial intelligence type stuff. Instagram reels and all the tracking they do of the stuff you watch and things, right? Who knows, right? We've got a core set, but yeah, absolutely, we'll carry some trickery in our sleeves.
So I saw this video on Facebook a few weeks ago. It was this play of where like all both guards and both tackles pull, and
Okay,
you know what they called it?
what?
Pulled pork. They called the play pulled pork because all the whole line pretty much just pulled.
Yep.
It's creative. I saw that. It was some coach. I can't remember who.
I love the
Um,
X's and O's of football. But the important thing, right, especially as young coaches, is to realize it's got to tie into your system,
Mhm.
right? You can watch all these sweet videos with, in this circumstance, the play went for a
Right.
touchdown, right? And it doesn't matter if it's nothing you've ever repped, if it doesn't tie into your system. Working up at Seeger, right? I was kind of experienced a lot of the wing T, right? And that's making things look similar and trying to take advantage of a certain action. So that deeply influences a lot of the stuff we do. Trying to give action and uh, multiple plays off that action.
What's your philosophy on special teams?
Uh, I was so excited this year. Our team came alive, and we took it. We kind of took it as a serious thing. Um, we developed an identity. Blairon Saligi, who was a senior for us, uh, he became an absolute weapon on kick returns, and uh, it was exciting to see that all develop. It's one of the core things in football. It's an opportunity to get field position, score points, and I love it. We stole some things from some programs I had watched in the off season, both at the collegiate and high school level this last year that I think played a big part in us having success, especially on kickoff return and kickoff. And it was exciting to see them kids who maybe don't play on offense or don't play on defense start to have an
Mhm.
identity and take pride in their time as a player, even if it's only on 6 plays a game or something.
Right, right, right. Okay, now we're gonna get into some shenanigans here.
Okay.
Who? What is? What's your favorite NFL or college coach to learn from?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say I don't. I do a lot of um, stuff with. I just kind of watch on Instagram or whatever. Coach Dan Casey, his channel is pretty
Yeah, yeah,
phenomenal.
that's who I was talking about.
They have a lot of stuff on there. Again, it sparks ideas, and I like to think that I'm a pretty creative person. So you kind of maybe one piece of that play, an action or something that the line's doing or a specific lineman's doing to trigger something. You can kind of pull from. I, I don't know if I can nail down a single coach. Um, again,
Mhm.
uh, Uh, I've I've kind of missed a few years ago when the Colts they used to host like a Indiana coaches clinic where they would bring people in. I'm a big Colts fan, and that was a
Mhm.
super cool experience. You got to go in with their different position coaches and in the meeting rooms at their complex and see that. That was a really unique opportunity. Um, but as far as like X's and O's, I don't know if I can nail down just one kind of specific influence. There's a lot of them,
Right, right.
and I don't know if I
What's
want.
the
I
funniest
don't know if
moment
I want
you've
to give
ever
away
had?
my secrets.
What's the funniest moment you've had on the sidelines?
Oh man, you're asking some interesting questions. Funniest moment. I remember one at Seeger that was pretty darn funny. It wasn't on the sidelines; it was in pregame warmup. I can't remember who we were playing, but it was late in the season, and we had like a snow squall come through out there on the prairie, and uh, made the field super slick. And I just remember dying laughing. Brandon Rumler, Coach Rumler, was leading our team through their dynamic warm up. And I just remember him absolutely biffing it and having this giant mud cake up his back the whole game. Uh, I remember going back to those experiences. He and I trying to be the tough young coaches and show these kids, how it is. It'd be snowing or raining, and we're out there in short sleeves and shorts. They're like, yes, we're so tough. And I remember thinking, there was a certain time, I don't know if it was after year 4 or 5, thinking, why am I doing this? The entire game, all I think about is how cold and miserable I am. Uh, I've adapted. I don't do that anymore. Kids can make fun of me all they want for being weak in what I'm wearing, but I got other things to think about.
I I probably already know the answer to this question, but who's the best high school player you've ever coached?
Uh, I think the easy one, if you're going to talk about just achievement wise, you'd go Cal Steven,
Mhm.
uh, just with his MLB experience.
Obviously.
I will tell you about that dude. He was a tremendous guy, like tremendous worker, still is. I happened to go down to Florida for spring break this year. I saw that he was pitching for the Blue Jays. He was doing a spring training game, and I sent him and both his mom a message, and they were kind enough to let me and my son CJ go and watch him. Uh, he has a tremendous work ethic, and there's a good reason. Yeah, he's got some natural God-given ability, but there's other things behind that. Uh, and he's got a tremendous work ethic and a good head on him as far as being focused. But no, I don't know that I would nail him down. There's too many kids that would be a disservice to nail down to just one. I always try again. This is not about wins and losses for me. I could really give a, a rat's butt about what my record is at the end of my career. It's about impacting lives, and you
Right.
you'd be surprised at some of the names I'm thinking of right now, and you might not even know who they are. As far as who I've enjoyed coaching, I love to see a progress in a kid becoming a man, and some of those.
Right.
Um, some of those are my absolute favorite experiences, and I greatly enjoy those.
Yeah, yeah. I know who you're definitely thinking about. Shout out to Brock Thomason. You're the
Yeah,
goat, dude.
Brock's doing well.
Um,
I've gotten to watch
which
him.
coach?
I will.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. If you were to have dinner with any coach, which coach would it be? Past or present?
Any level?
Any level.
Huh. Honestly, the first one that comes to my mind is actually Jack Hunter, who's kind of Covington's most celebrated coach. I've heard stories from Herb King, who assistant coached actually for him for a little while. Um, Seems like an interesting guy. There's kind of there's a little bit of a mystique around him. He was my driver's ed teacher, and at that time he was pretty old, and he was comfortable enough with my driving ability that he would just nap in the passenger seat. Um, but I think it would be awesome to just kind of pick his brain on program wise, especially I think now it'd be interesting to kind of talk to him. Um, Sometimes I think uh, you're kind of on an island as a coach, especially at a small school. So it'd be neat to kind of just get their insight, especially on
Mhm.
maybe uh, uncertainties that you have or questions that you can't go ask certain people, maybe because they're an opponent or something like that. Um, it would just be good to get
Right.
advice from in that aspect.
All right, coach. My final question for you today is what's something people misunderstand about being a coach?
Uh, I think there's some level of misunderstanding around and I think maybe some coaches have done a bad job of representing the coaching profession, right? I think we can all think of one that he was a teacher and a coach, but he was really just a coach. And that's kind of what his life all revolved around, was game planning and watching film. And uh, I think that's something that's kind of misrepresented by us, and sort of we've done a kind of maybe a bad job of representing that across the board. Um, Again, I don't take this job for granted at all. People think I'm weird for saying this. I'm a graduate of Covington, but I think this job is on lease through some experiences that kind of happened at Seeger. I'm here now. I don't plan on leaving. I have no ideas of leaving. But as long as the Lord wills me to be here in this role, we're going to try to maximize the most out of it and be an influence to kids. Show them what it is to do the right thing always. Do the right thing in the classroom. Do the right thing when no one's looking. Do the right thing in the community, and do the right thing on the football field. And again, you're going to screw up. That's what God's grace is for. Ask for forgiveness and try to do better. That's kind of what it boils down to. It's interesting to kind of see come full circle, and I'm always trying to be aware of that. So influences on me when I was going through some things in high school as a player, I always try to keep those in my mind. I try to be aware of what students are going through on a variety of different levels, whether that be with family relations, moving, things like that, and try to give the kids what they need. I think you talked with Shane Fry at West Lafayette, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but he kind of got to that idea. I think we as coaches need to kind of tailor our coaching, not for maybe a certain kid, a certain type of kid. You've got a bunch of different kids on this team, especially a small school. You're not getting anyone else. This is who you have. And how can you make this experience valuable for them? They're giving you time. They're giving you their commitment. And I think it's important that we give them everything we've got as far as time, commitment, effort, energy, and again, represent the right things all the time.
Absolutely, Coach. I want to thank you for coming on. I'm Bryan Jones. He's Coach Justin Wheeler. Thank you for listening.
Hi, this is Coach Justin Wheeler. I'm here with a great friend of mine and leader of an awesome organization that we support here at Covington. And just want to give them a shout out. This is Ryan Sowers.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in right now. Marilyn's Village, you're seeing it. This is an adult disability service in Covington, Indiana. We service a lot of the area around us. 4 counties actually right now with the villagers. They come in, we're a non-Medicaid entity. We're faith-based as well. And so we basically, in a nutshell, provide adult disability services for those that need it in our area. So thank you guys for your support and for checking us out. You can check us out online at www.marylandsvillage.org. Thank you very much.